So it's a fact that our teenagers and our adult children, they're more connected than we ever were at their age. At any given moment, they can talk to someone living across the country or even the world. Yet, according to a recent study by Cigna, 3 out of 4 Gen Zers, 3 out of 4 report feeling alone sometimes or always. So it's clear there's a difference between digital and in-person relationships, but my next guest believes you can help your kids on their quest for real connection. Psychologist Dr. Tom Golightly joining me now to share how. Great to see you, sir.
Good to see you.
So this is a new term, artificial intimacy. It's been circulating as the new AI, artificial intimacy, and people are claiming it's something to be worried about, and parents, I think, have been worried about this long before there was even a term for it.
Absolutely. The way I kind of conceptualize that artificial intimacy is it's like snack food. You have snack food available to you, and our phones, these things. We always have them, right?
That's a great analogy.
And it's there, and we just eat it.
Yes.
And it's not giving us the full 4-course meal that we could have, but it's just enough.
Like for a minute, my kids think their bellies are full of ice cream.
It's tasty. I love Doritos.
Sure.
Who doesn't love Doritos?
Sure,
right?
but then you get hungry.
Absolutely, and it's just not giving us that satisfaction, that true connection. And so it's giving us just a little bit of a taste of what we want, and we stop there, and we need to not stop there.
This seems like something, and I'm always cautious about putting more like to-do items on a parent's plate, on my own plate, but this seems like something that parents have to consciously parent toward, helping kids develop those in-person connections.
It's really difficult to do it, but I do think we have to be intentional about it. And too often, instead of using the phone as the vehicle, it becomes my interaction, and we stop there. None of those dating apps, none of these social media sites, they weren't created with the purpose of replacing social connection. It was supposed to help facilitate it. But yet, in practice, what that's done over the last, 15 years or so is we've kind of flip-flopped it, and we just end with that virtual interaction, and we're not getting there. So parents really being on top of it, because the studies do show that the most lonely kids are those that are spending the most hours on social media sites.
Yeah, I believe that. I believe that. And I know this is more a preteen, teenage, young adult sort of issue, but even last week I'm remembering we were trying to set up a play date, and I said, for my 8-year-old daughter, and I said, well, I'll just call her mom, your friend's mom. And she went, why wouldn't you just text her? And I was like, well, but I think in addition to modeling it ourselves, you have to do that gut check. And that's your first point, is that we need to go to people first.
So I had a similar realization the other day. I was watching a ball game, and I was texting like 6 different people, and I'm like, 3 of these guys live like 4 doors down. Why are we not just sitting in the room watching the game together? And it's easy to kind of fall into that trap. Like I said, the snacks are always there.
Yeah.
But really saying, okay, that's the vehicle. Okay, how are we going to use that? Use this to set things up. So you might use the phone to get there, but it needs to be coordinating things, getting the people together. It's to make sure that you're doing in-person interaction. So if you have the young adult on the dating app, don't just flirt on the dating app. Like set up some meetups. Like go, be cautious. Be careful. But really, it's a vehicle. It's meant to help you engage other people, not just be the engagement with other people.
It feels like, and you can't put the genie back in the bottle, but it feels like there almost needs to be a societal shift in this area. The women behind the Instagram account, American Moms, they posted something so intriguing to me last week with the passing of O.J. Simpson. They were talking about the coverage of the trial, right, so many decades ago, and how we used to have these shared experiences, whether it be the O.J. Simpson trial or coming together at the end of the night to watch the news as a family, or we were all watching the same shows at the same time, and we're missing those like simultaneous experiences with each other because we're watching on our own time, or we're talking and discussing in our own ways. We need those real life experiences.
We do, and we have to be kind of purposeful about making those. And so there are times, and what I've seen with some of my young adult and teenage kids, they will come in and leave the phones on the island. It's like, leave our phones on the island. Let's go downstairs. Like, everyone leave these up here. Let's just be together.
On their own free accord.
Yeah, they're doing it. I'm not, goodness, if I suggested it, that would be the worst thing ever. But where they're just really like, let's be together. Let's be mindful. Let's be present with each other. And it's really, really cool to see them take that up.
You say another way we can promote these connections is to encourage value-based decisions. What do you mean by that?
So they might not even know what they want from their social interactions. It might be good to sit down and say, what do you value? What do you want? Do you want a lot of friends? Do you want one or two friends that you do everything with? Maybe even dating behaviors. I want to date to marry. I just want to date around. All of that's fine. But if you are saying that you want to do something, but then all of your behavior is pulling away from those things, help them kind of see, okay, well, you mentioned that this is what you want from your social interactions. Let's make choices towards those things where we are increasing your connections, where we're inviting. And I know that's scary, and it's okay to kind of talk to them and be with them in that fear. And we'll talk about that here in just a sec. But it's important that they know what they want and that they're making decisions towards what they want.
So it's the why. It's helping them see behind. You want to hang out with your friends. What do you hope to get out of that?
The intention.
The intention. There's that word again. All right, you talked about the fear and regulating emotion. You say we have to address that as parents, as grandparents, if we want these kids to feel strong enough or equipped enough to form real life connections.
Well, I remember the worry to date me. You know, I had to call on the landline, and guess who always answered?
The dad.
The dad. It was the worst. And so, you know, I realized that fear. I recognized that fear. Normalize it. Help them label it. But then going back to those intentions, if you label it and just say, hey, this is just your worry. What do you want? Let's make decisions about what you want, and it's okay. We can't empower the emotion to make the decisions. We've got to go with our intention, and so help them through that process of just kind of normalizing it and disempowering that emotion so they can get what they want out of it.
I'm always thinking, again, I'm playing more small scale on the 8-year-old level, but I'm always thinking, how can I encourage those real life communications, whether it's the person at the store, you go ask for the shoe size you want, or you go, you know, I think those smaller steps too have to add up to something. Tell me they do.
Yes, they do.
Okay.
And the rejections, right? Like they're gonna have friends say no, and it's help them through that. It's okay. They're still loved, they're still appreciated, and sometimes fit doesn't work with everyone.
Provide the spot is your final piece of advice. What do you mean by that?
This is maybe more for the young adults and the teenagers that are still in the home, but let your home be the spot. You don't have to plan a huge blowout bash and cater something, but just give them space to go do it. If you haven't ever seen teenagers play Trivia Crack together on a night, they're using their phones, but they're interacting, and it's super fun. Just let your home be that spot. If they want to make a meal, open your kitchen up. Let them do that. You might have to do some dishes, heads up. But I think not being hesitant to open up that spot for that in-person connection is helping them clear a barrier, because they often wonder, well, where are we going to go? And make your place the place that they want to be.
Throw open the doors and let them know that you promote that and celebrate that in your home. Tom, thank you so much. We always appreciate your insight.
Thanks for having me.